blood.
You've made quite a life for yourself, Detective.
John Doe has the upper hand. Mills!
Here he comes.
What?
I wish I could have lived like you did.
Shut up.
Do you hear me, Detective? I'm trying to tell you how much I admire you. And your pretty wife.
What?
I visited your home this morning. After you'd left. I tried to play husband. I tried to taste the life of a simple man.
Blow it away!
It didn't work out. So, I took a souvenir.
You lie! Shut up!
Oh. He didn't know.
Give me the gun, David.
Hello everyone, this is Joshua Smith of Apollo's Artifacts. It is September of 2019. Before I get to this Kevin Spacey article, I actually want to jump over to one on R. Kelly first. So I'd heard the rumors about R. Kelly for many, many years. Many of us had heard these rumors for about 2 decades. The question I have is, why does it take almost 2 decades of rumors before anything is ever done by the so-called legal authorities? Here we have an update to R. Kelly's situation. It says that he's a no-show at a court hearing on sex crime charges and an arrest warrant has been issued. Can't really be followed through on right now as he is actually locked up currently in a separate federal detention center. However, once that case plays out, he will then be taken over to Minneapolis, where he will face further charges. And despite the fact that he's facing a huge slew of charges and massive amounts of accusations of horrendous abuse of young children, how many of you want to bet that he'll serve less than 10 years, probably less than 5 years, and then he'll be right back out making music again, dressing in fancy suits and all of this sort of thing? But that is the state of so-called justice in America right now. Then I want to move over to this increasingly creepy and bizarre information about Kevin Spacey. Now, people have heard the accusations about Spacey as well, going back at least a decade, probably even 2 decades, just as in the case of R. Kelly. It says here, breaking: second Kevin Spacey accuser dies, this time in the midst of sexual assault lawsuit. Like a plot twist straight out of House of Cards, the plaintiff claiming to have been sexually assaulted by Kevin Spacey has died, according to a notice filed in court by the actor's attorneys today. It goes on to state here that this was a John Doe who was suing him over abuse that he had suffered at the hands of Spacey, and they simply drop it quickly. No more information regarding the plaintiff's sudden death in the midst of the lawsuit is available at this time. Adding a level of intrigue to the entire situation is the fact that criminal charges against Spacey were recently dropped in Nantucket, Massachusetts, where Spacey had pleaded not guilty to felony indecent assault and battery. In that case, the accuser, a teenage boy, suddenly stopped cooperating and prosecutors withdrew the charges. I wonder if they ever investigated with this to find out if this person or members of his family had been threatened. That would almost assuredly be the case, just in my opinion. Beginning in late 2017, Spacey has been accused of sexually assaulting and improper conduct against a long list of individuals spanning decades. This also marks the second person who has died in just the last 7 months in connection with accusations against Kevin Spacey. The first whistleblower to go public with allegations branding Spacey a sexual predator is dead, and her grieving family is demanding answers. And what you find out here in this case is this was a nursing assistant who actually had a patient who told her about how Spacey had abused him, and then she began to investigate the case, but she went a little bit too far and ended up being charged herself with stalking Spacey. But if not for people like her, how could stories like this ever even get out in the first place? That's the sort of thing that these people always want to try to cover up, is they don't even want the stories to make it to the public. Here they quote one of the deceased cousins. It says, Linda was one of the first to accuse Kevin Spacey of attacking young men, and I find it very odd that you don't hear anything more about her accident or about the person who hit her. In 2018, actor Anthony Rapp broke decades of silence to charge that the actor tried to molest him at the age of 14.
Honestly, I was just concerned that it would be something that would keep happening. So if I could do something that could make a difference, I was eager to. And I felt protected in the sense of, like, the people that I had in my corner were very supportive, and I felt like if anything bad were to happen from it, that I'd have help through that. So I was ready for that.
And in connection with this and other Hollywood abuses, I would encourage everyone to watch the documentary An Open Secret, which came out in 2014.
I think every little kid dreams about being famous and being in movies.
This is California. This is where you make it. This is where it all starts.
You'll get signed by a label. You can star on Disney Channel. You know, what kid wouldn't want that, right?
I remember you asked me if I ever did anything with the guy before. I was not interested at 12.
You're not recording this, right?
Look like an angel.
Hollywood doesn't have any system in place to protect anybody, and children are way down on that list.
Children need management just like everybody else.
Walk like an angel.
Everybody liked him.
He became part of the family.
In the beginning, it was happy, and then things started changing.
Oh, you talk like an angel.
They pick on people who they know will be victims.
You have an adult who is manipulating the child.
Look like an angel.
Getting, hired on the spot like that. That had never happened before. It was obvious that something was going on.
You fool me.
The party made me feel uncomfortable. There were lots of drugs available, and there were young teenage boys.
I remember being scared.
He just told me this is what you have to do.
A number of boys told me to point the gun at them just like that.
He said, "Do you not understand the power I have?"
You're the devil in disguise.
I remember sitting in my room and crying my eyes out.
He said, "What would you do? That happened to me."
A lot of investors completely denied that anything was going on.
Clearly, the studio didn't want an investigation.
I hated when you tried to have me sleep in your bed and touch me.
I don't know anything about that.
There will always be a steady stream of kids who want to be famous.
We're absolutely talking about the tip of an iceberg.
It wasn't uncommon, let's put it that way.
And in that, a number of charges are leveled at Bryan Singer as well. But they talked to some of the more high-profile people who have been victims over the years. It's a very interesting documentary, very solidly and well put together. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.